Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of The Outer Worlds. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today in this most pivotal of moments. We need to talk about this lifetime employment program.
I'll answer however I can.
What's your take on all this?
When I first discovered the truth, I was shocked, even disgusted. I wondered how we'd allowed a colony like Halcyon to fall into disarray. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized the colony had sown the seeds of its own destruction. We have become lazy and decadent. We smother ourselves in meaningless bureaucracies. We deliberate and argue and procrastinate.
No mention of the word exploitation or exploit, because that's also a part of it. I mean, that's the point of the bureaucracies and the deliberations and procrastinations. I agree with you.
You realize that agreeing with me won't get you any kind of pay raise. Nevertheless, I'm pleased to hear that.
And you don't believe all this lifetime employment nonsense, do you?
The Lifetime Employment Program is not some malevolent strategy of an evil mastermind. There's no dark secret buried in the fine print. The program is logical, it's reasonable, it's merciful, and most importantly, it will work.
I saw the presentation. Rockwell wants to sacrifice the colony to save Byzantium.
Byzantium is the beating heart of our colony. And as long as Byzantium survives, Halcyon may one day recover from the collapse. We must protect this city at any cost. Help me execute the Lifetime Employment Program, and you will have earned a place of honor in Byzantium. You will live in comfort and want for nothing.
You see, that just doesn't work. In the sense that how will I work? You don't work. Byzantium isn't the living heart, the beating heart of the colony. It's the freaking... tick. It's a tick on the colony. A huge swollen tick. Or something grosser than a tick. I couldn't think of anything grosser. I couldn't think of the name of anything grosser. There's another thing that I'm trying to think of, but I don't know the name in English. How long do we have?
We've already crossed the point of no return. The collapse has already begun. You must have noticed the signs in Emerald Vale. Malnutrition, disease, high mortality rates. This is a permanent famine, Captain. We've done all we can to curb their hunger. Very soon, people are going to realize they're starving. A famine is a problem of logistics as well as marketing. Your workers must remain productive on as little food as possible, and they must always believe that food is plentiful.
That's what that research in Roseway was all about.
Before you interfered in Roseway, Dr. Anton Crane was on the verge of developing a powerful appetite suppressant. It would have made his career. The solution is a temporary one. Before long, our workers are going to feel the effects of starvation. The Lifetime Employment Program is our only viable option.
What does any of this have to do with me?
When you turned Phineas Wells over to me, I knew I could rely on you. You've demonstrated your ability to place duty above sentiment. And you deliver results. That quality alone is enough to separate you from the board's army of indecisive bureaucrats.
Not a fan of bureaucracy, Sophia. I'm gonna ask.
Do you know how many meetings I have to sit through? How many papers I have to sign before I can make one decision? I'm only trying to rescue Halcyon from extinction. I can't save this colony alone. I need someone capable of working outside the system. Someone who can get things done.
Oh, I work outside the system, alright. Yeah, but just not the way you want me to work, apparently. No more questions. Tell me why you wanted to see me.
We need to talk about Emerald Vale. Thanks to your meddling, Edgewater is without power. Operations have ground to a halt. You've left us with a useless town draining our resources. Edgewater needs to go. I want you to wipe the town out. No survivors.
I get that you board types are all about efficiency, but isn't this a bit much?
I'm asking your captain to amputate a rotting limb from the colony.
Can we not take the
I'd
tick?
expect you to understand, Dr.
The tick out.
You're a monster.
Yes.
Someone has to be. Now is not the time for half measures, Captain. I need a decision from you.
No, it's the tick that I was talking about. It's understandable that she would say something like that. Someone has to be, if she doesn't see that what she sees as the bright, beautiful spearhead of the colony is actually... Let's push her logic to the extreme. I wouldn't say this normally, but I will say it, and then I will say that I don't understand. What did Edgewater do to deserve this?
When you diverted power to the botanical lab, you spelled the end of Edgewater. But the town is still hanging on, still living off whatever meager resources we send them. With every passing day, Edgewater leeches more of our limited resources. The town is a rotting limb, and we must be surgeons.
The board is responsible for this colony. This is all your fault.
Because we were negligent. You're right, the colony can't possibly feed itself. And it's our fault. This is our mess. And the only way we're cleaning it up is by taking action. I'm not asking you to be a murderer. I'm asking you to be a surgeon. Edgewater is
She was so close
on the body of the colony. It must be severed.
She was so close to it that I half expected her to quote, I don't know what movie it is from, or if it is from a movie. Like a lot of people, like I don't know what the quote is exactly, but like something along the lines of a leader going like, a lot of people are gonna die for this, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I don't know where that's from, but I've seen that multiple times. It's probably from a big important movie that I didn't watch as always. But that's like, she is so close, and I really wish that I found that I was hoping that I had found like a secret way of turning her or something. I have noticed that we're not doing any persuasion checks, which I am a little bit saddened by, but we'll find out if they come at the end, which probably is a better idea in terms of designing a dialogue that is meant to have different results depending on your dialogue skills, but still allow every character to have all the explanation. So instead of just front-loading the persuasion checks, you backload them, so you know the results can still be there, but the information is all there as well. So she says, when I say this is the most important, this is the freaking most important thing in this whole quest line. This is all your fault. Not her personally, although her personally as well. I mean, although that fault is more of a consequential, it's more of a sort of incidental thing than necessarily a fundamental thing. But it is her fault, but it is the fault of the board. The board is responsible for the colony. This is all your fault. And then she just acknowledges it. We were negligent. You're right. It's our fault. And like I know I'm being, what's the word? I'm making a moral judgment when, like, there's a lot of morality in here, obviously, and so what I'm saying is due to my morality. And when we're talking about our attitude, our moral attitude towards this, there's always a certain disconnect. So you, as a viewer or a listener, might have a different moral stance from me. So we're never going to connect, or we're not going to connect necessarily when I say that Byzantium. When I say that it's their fault, so the people of Edgewater shouldn't suffer, that's a moral stance. There is, however, a very pragmatic side to this, and when I say pragmatic, I really mean just rational and just sort of logical side to this. When I say that Byzantium is the tick instead of the, I really wish I knew the name of that other animal. There's another animal that that is bigger than a tick, and it causes fever. Although ticks also cause fever, just in general, parasites do. But there's another animal that really feeds off of blood, and it's different than a tick. A tick tends to just bugger off after a while, but the other animal just stays and breeds, and it's bigger. And you find that in dogs a lot, and I don't know the name of it, but then I just wanted to make it disgusting, so that's why I said I was trying to say its name, but I can't. Anyway, the point is, Byzantium, from a pragmatical standpoint, does not contribute to production of food or production of goods and mining, and like not even there's not even a cultural argument here, because that's not the point of the game. The cultural aspect of all of this is largely irrelevant throughout the whole of the game, which is a good thing, because if you start mixing those two, if you start mixing economics with culture, it becomes a little bit more complicated. Although it doesn't necessarily validate the discussions that we're having, but you could have hypothetically Byzantium be the cultural center of the colony, where people get their education, or where scientists work, or and I say scientists as part of a culture because historically science is part of culture. We just don't think about it like that in modern day, but that's because it's because of the role science has in the sustainability of a capitalist system like the one the board has. So it would make sense for the board to also not look at science as a part of culture. But if you remove capitalism, you start to see science as a part of culture, just as history is, or as museums, or linguistics and all this sort of stuff, and fiction and all this sort of stuff is culture. But that's like, to a certain extent, that's Byzantium is a little bit that, but it's so vague and so little, and it's just portrayed by herself, by Sophia here, portrayed as decadent and as irrelevant, which it is. I mean, the game was designed for us, people from the 21st century to see, and to us, this game is made to seem, or rather Byzantium is made to seem decadent and irrelevant and pointless, because that's the story that's being told over here. So within the story, what we have is Byzantium being just a parasite over the entire colony, and the entire colony feeds this parasite. And my problem before, which has been somewhat mitigated, but my problem before was that the famine was not the result of anything the board did. But I don't think that's the case anymore. I think the game is being very clear in that. This is all your fault, says my character, and she says, you're right. It's our fault. So I think that that definitely centers the storyline a lot better, and it just allows us to have a more. I think that's a lot better than what I was interpreting the storyline as before. Our options are pretty obvious here. I mean, they're obvious in here, but like, I don't think I can, in gameplay terms. And when I say gameplay, I mean dialogue as well. I don't think I can express all the nuance that I'm saying just now. But it is still important for me to just put these thoughts out there because, of course, I react to shooting and shooty and taking damage, but I also react to reading. And that's, I need to talk to react to reading. Just like that. Edgewater's not productive anymore, so we wipe it off the planet. Maybe that's the way for us to get the Byzantium is not productive.
We don't have any other option. The colony is on the verge of collapse, and we no longer have the luxury of easy solutions.
I can't say that. I wonder if it's a check. I wonder if it's anything like a skill that allows me to say Byzantium is not productive. Because we're so close, we're edging so close to that. To the pragmatic standpoint, like, to the pragmatical approach to this. To the thing that it doesn't matter what your morals are, that you either understand or don't. And maybe I'm wrong in this. I don't think I'm wrong. I'm 100% sure that I'm not wrong in this, and when I say Byzantium is not productive, but it's at least something that we can argue, right? It's a matter of fact, where morality is a matter of, at the end of the day, it's a matter of opinion, but, you know, of course, when we're talking about killing innocent people, it's tricky for me to say that it's a matter of opinion, you know what I mean? But morality is a different thing. It's a different conversation that we're having. But if we're talking about matter of fact, something that we can argue in look, Byzantium doesn't produce things. You're completely insane.
No. Allowing thousands of colonists to starve to death because we couldn't make one cold-blooded decision is insane. What I'm suggesting is absolutely logical.
You talk less like a human than mechanicals I've known.
I am responsible for every single human life in this colony. Do you imagine I relish the thought of killing some of them to save the rest? Steel your spine, Captain. Do what needs to be done.
So, just so you understand why she's wrong on this particular line here, because it is easy to miss specifically this sort of argument. There's another sort of argument that's very easy to miss as well whenever we're talking about things like this in real life, even if it isn't about killing millions of people or thousands or however many. The other one is the shifting of goalposts. It's hard to spot sometimes when you're in a heated discussion, when people just when you argue against them and it's just sort of like shift the need of a justification ever so slightly so they can avoid your argument. What she's saying here isn't that. What she's saying here is a false duality. Yeah, false duality, I think is how it's said. So basically when I say that she's insane for killing Edgewater, she says she says allowing thousands of colonists to starve to death because we couldn't make one cold-blooded decision is insane. And that's the other option, and that's why it's a false duality. There's other options here. Clearly not in the dialogue, but there are other options, and that's why it's a false duality. For her, it isn't, but that doesn't mean that her argumentation is any more valid just because she doesn't see it. The answer is no.
Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be, Captain. I rather like you, and I'd hate to have you shot for disobeying a direct order.
Go to hell, Sophia.
I'm disappointed. I was so sure you had potential.
There. Nice one.
Well. Oh yeah, we're all right.
So, sneak onto a lost colony ship and skip it across the system. What could go wrong?
It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be just fine. Let me just scoop... Oh, she didn't have anything. Scoop the remains of our would-be killers here. And we'll be right on our way. Don't worry about it. Oh, I didn't get my reward from Percival. How dare he? Oh, there's my reward. Nice. Anyway, let's get out of here. And I realize there's gonna be more enemies. Did I... Are we going in the right direction here? I think we are. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about it. Ooh. No discount here. Ooh, surcharge. That's proper choices and consequences here. Are we good? What?
Okay, Captain?
I think we are. I mean, I'll take their stuff. If only because I can. I wonder if the... I mean, I assume the game is made... Or rather, like, this is a normal option to be made.
Get ready!
Get roll! We don't have anybody else.
Nice work!
And we have Parvati hollering and hooting. Hooping? That's a different thing. In the background. Oh, also this. Repair all equipped. Thank you very much. And let's get going. Because we have made some very powerful enemies. This actually might result in us dying.
If you stop in the engine room, would you ask Parvati to send Sam down to the bridge? Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance?
I don't think you can.
I request you do not wake me if I am sleeping upon your return.
I won't. Let's go to the Hope. And jump this ship.
We have arrived at the Hope. I need you to reroute power from our ship to the Hope's auxiliary generator. You'll have to connect me to the Hope's comm system so I can convince her central computer to enable the skip drive.
What's going to happen if I skip the Hope?
If your calculations are even slightly off, you could crash the entire colony ship into Terra 2. Or the Sun.
What was I doing again?
Forgetfulness can be an early warning sign of asphyxiation due to loss of pressurization. Are you breathing comfortably, Captain? I need you to reroute power from our ship to the Hope's auxiliary generator. You'll have to connect me to the Hope's comm system so I can convince her central computer to enable the skip drive.
That was just the option. Be cute with me, Ada. Tell me about the Hope.
The Hope is the Groundbreaker's prettier, sleeker sister. She wandered off and got lost for 70 years, but just recently was found. Also, there are hundreds of thousands of frozen organic life forms hibernating in her hold.
Yeah, that's all for now.
You killed the adjutant?
Oh, yeah.
We are outlaws in the truest sense of the word now.
Yeehaw! That's what I'm talking about. And that is the Hope. I really like the font that they use for just Hope outside. Come on, engineers. Eyes and ears. Yeah, it's not that Hope. Not that font that shows up on that loading screen. We don't have enemies out here. We've never been here. Yeah, this is like the Groundbreaker. Got a workbench. Available functions, patch, status, logs. Route an auxiliary power source to supplement UDL-002's reactor. Power status report, let's go with that. Reactor is in power save mode, only life support is powered. Systems due to regularly maintain scheduled maintenance. A bunch of things. Pending work orders. Microwave short-circuited after some idiot left his fork on his plate. Don't microwave metal. Microwave clock has stopped. Microwave is stuck on high power mode. Microwave has stopped working entirely. It's a good thing that it did that. Hibernation storage status. Storage bay 5 is currently at 99% capacity, 92 and 76 for storage bay 8 and 12 respectively. And then we have the logs over here. Error accessing archives. Available entries. Pre-launch roll call. Captain Wilhelm Hunt and First Mate Donna Hunt. Navigation. Rezi Torega. Chief Engineer Frank Nolda. Medical Officer Alexei Volkov. 10 years. Longest trip Donna and I ever took was a week-long sojourn into the Silver Mountains. Even that set her on edge. She's a homebody, always was. She packed so much food we could have been stranded out on those rocks for a month, and we probably would have been just fine. UDL sent us a team building seminar, or sent us on a team building seminar into the city once. They paid for everything. Donna still packed nutrient bars just in case the bus broke down. It's gonna take this ship 10 years to reach Alcyon, an entire decade. It's a good thing UDL provided the rations, else she might have dumped our life savings into mixed nuts and freeze-dried meat. We also have an automated auto transcript over here, or audio transcript. This is it, folks, says Wilhelm. Say goodbye to Old Blue, eh? Says Nolda. Yep, if anyone wants to. Torega says, good riddance. Why so bitter, Redzi? She's been a good home, says Volkov, and Torega says, give me a spaceship any day of the week. And the first mate says, well, we'll see how you feel a year in. Nolda says, so, moment of silence? Or should we make a toast? Anything? It feels weird leaving Earth in the rearview mirror. And Wilhelm says, nope, from now on, we look only forward. I mean, I guess it makes sense that it would be such a hopeful tone for their last messages, really. Or last written messages, anyway. But anyway, we're out of time for today, so we're gonna need to do this in the next episode. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been The Outer Worlds. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.